Okay. Good morning.
It is.
I think I've gotten the answer, but I don't want it to be that simple. I'm struck.
Those are the perfect words to what physical humans do with this. It cannot be as simple as good feels good. There's got to be something else in there.
Okay. I have a fear that I've been trying to some way or another overcome. I have a fear of being broke. I've been there before, and I do extremely well now. But when I go to the cash station and I withdraw, I don't want to look at my checking account. I don't want to look at it. I like to know that it's at a certain position. And if it drops, it dictates how I feel. And I find myself, like I just took on a project where I'm rehabbing a building that I bought. And I found myself, rather than going out and getting some contractors to do it and pay them one large amount and be through with it, I'll dish out little bits. But what I'm finding that in reality, I'm spending even more.
However, that process is serving you, because as you are dishing it out in little bits and keeping your fund in that place that you are comfortable, you're in the place of allowing the fund to keep replenishing. So it doesn't matter if it costs you twice as much, because the money will keep coming. If you were to say, I'm going to be smart about this, and I'll just take it all and give it to a contractor, and then he'll be more efficient in the way he spends the money. But meanwhile, I'm sweating bullets. Now you've shut down the flow.
Yeah, because if I did that, it would run me crazy. You know,
and if you were in that place, would you be in the place of letting more in or blocking it off?
Be blocking it off.
And so it isn't about facing the facts. It's about holding yourself in a place where you continue to allow the universe to give you what you're wanting. That would be like saying, I'm going to go jogging, and in jogging, I breathe in more oxygen, but there's only so much, so I'll walk real slow. I'll walk real slow so I don't use up the oxygen too fast. And you say, well, that's silly. There's as much as I need. I can run, I can walk, I can crawl, I can lie down. In other words, it doesn't matter. There's all that I need. Now, if you're in an enclosed capsule where there's only so much oxygen, we'd encourage you to lie real still till somebody rescues you. But that's not the way it is in this environment where there is an abundance of whatever it is that you are wanting. So we think that you have discovered what really works well for you.
Great. I guess what has happened then is that I have allowed other people's feelings to dictate how I feel, in a sense, because
they're used to there not being enough money, and they're used to feeling shortage. And so they want to guide you to be that way. You're spending far too much, or you're not spending your money efficiently, they would say.
And I usually have it when they don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm usually the one that they're asking for it. Makes sense. You know, I came a while back, and you gave me some information that was real good, and it worked. My business was suffering. You made it simple. You said that if you have 10 customers and 8 are negative, 10 are positive, focus on
the two that are.
The two that are.
Yes.
And I've noticed that since I've done that,
yes,
that things have just taken off for me.
Yes.
You know, I've seen the process work in my life, and again, for some reason or another, I don't want it to be as simple as it is, but it is.
You know why? Because you're accustomed to believing that to be validated, there has to be some suffering and struggle. And you see so many people that you love around you that are suffering and struggling, and it feels wrong to thrive so easily. We think that when you just get in this clear space of understanding that you're supposed to thrive, that then you're willing to let it be simple. And it's only when you get bogged down in the awareness that there are a lot struggling that you feel like maybe you'd like to struggle a little. And that's what goes wrong with so many successful people in keeping them from really being good mentors to others, is that they're embarrassed to explain the simplicity of what they've discovered. And so they try to justify their success through complicating it. Very often you'll hear someone who's successful, and we know that the reason that they are is the reason that everyone always is. They found a way to relax and allow it to be. But then, this is always true of famous people. When the masses are looking at them and their attitudes are, oh, you're just lucky. Well, you don't want to feel lucky. You want to feel like you had some hand in it. Or they say, you don't deserve it. And you want to feel that you deserve it. And so then they start evoking from you excuses about how you made it. And then they'll start telling the stories of how hungry they were. You did. I was broke. I've been there. I haven't had any money. It's sort of the way that you sort of level the playing field so that others don't feel badly of you. And we think it's nice. You have to sort of dance in the world that you live in. But we wouldn't try to dance with partners that aren't ready to dance our dance. We wouldn't try to explain to somebody who doesn't understand what it's like. Jerry used to tell a story that he was always poor as a kid growing up, and he resented the country club set. In fact, they made fun of anybody that had money. That there's that man smoking that big cigar, he would say, driving that big Cadillac. They represented something that they believed that they could not have. In other words, a Cadillac would come into his town and it would leave with little ribbons flapping in the breeze on its roof where the kids would destroy it. In other words, they were pushing against the well-being, not understanding that they were pushing against their own success, you see. And so as you recognize that everything is about vibration and that everything that comes to you is a vibrational match to where you are, and it is true of everyone, and you don't try to prove anything to anyone, you just line up your own vibration. If you let there be a contest, you let it be within your own vibration, and you're always reaching for your own alignment. Then what happens is it's easy to find that alignment when you're not factoring in what everybody else thinks about it. And once you find that alignment, then you are sure-footed. And then you can be a mentor to others. And then your words to them are, it was easier than I thought. But this is what I've come to know. And a lot of them are, even as you are describing yourself to be a little bit, you don't want it to be that easy. But we say to you, it is easy. It's like there's a river flowing, a beautiful river flowing, and you want to go to where it will take you. And so you just put your canoe in the stream, and you just flow. And you guide it with your oar to make it interesting. You choose where you stop along the way. That's the way you intended it to be. But so many humans get right in the water, turn their canoe upstream, and paddle really, 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 really hard, and then say, this is too hard. I'm not having a good time. And we say, go with the flow. Go with the flow. You deserve well-being. You deserve anything that you can conjure. Anything that you can define and feel good as you define. Source energy is right there to assist you. Of course, you know that. You know everything that we're giving you here. We're just doing a sales job on it being all right with you if it be easy.
Okay. Good enough. I've heard it.
Later for you, you are the one. If you can just grasp that very, very seriously difficult to understand concept, that if it feels good, you're aligned with that which is good. And that negative emotion is your indicator that you have departed vibrationally from source temporarily. Departed's too strong, disconnected's too strong, but you have chosen a vibration that is causing you to reverberate in a place where you're slightly off signal so that you cannot fully align with the power and the clarity and the love and the joy that is you. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we just would not do that. Not for very long. We would practice feeling good with a determined effort on such a daily basis that when we slip from it, we'd know it. We'd know it and we'd say, no big thing, I can choose otherwise. Good. So the word dominant is a word we want you to hook up with here today. What is my dominant vibration? The other word is. So there's this thing I do not want. And I say, I don't want you in my experience. But as I give my attention to this thing that I do not want, I have activated it. Because attention to it activates the vibration of it in me. So I say, I'm going to deactivate you. Can't do it. You can't deactivate something because the whole time you're focused upon this thing you want to deactivate, what are you doing? activating it. So the only way you can deactivate something is by withdrawing your attention from it, because as long as it's got your attention, it's activated. That's the point of the virtual reality. You activate things that feel good. You activate vibrations that feel good until those are the activated, active, dominant vibrations within you, which makes it less likely that you will activate one of those others, because what becomes dominant within you becomes dominant within you. Now, that's not to say that you don't have some old issues that you've been dragging around that are not activated all the time, but when they come up, you know they've come up. And so often you say, well, I've got this issue. I'm going to wrestle it to the ground and kill it. And we say, no, you're not. You're going to activate it. You're going to make it more alive in your vibration. You're going to give it your attention. You're going to activate it within you. And then what's law of attraction going to do? It's going to help you remember more things just like it. And it's going to bring to you other people that have that same issue activated. And it's going to rendezvous you with magazine articles, television programs. It's going to hook you up with all kinds of things that are like that are already activated. And you're going to have the experience that you do not want, because you cannot deactivate something that you are trying to deactivate, because trying to deactivate it activates it. Nice to know, isn't it? So how do you deactivate this thing you do not want? By activating something else. So if I have sickness that I want to deactivate, should I focus upon the subject of a well body? We wouldn't, because when you focus upon the subject of a well body, you're going to activate your dominant vibration. When you pick up on the subject of my body or my health and the dominant vibration is one of worry and concern, when you try to work on feeling better, you just activate the vibration where it is. So that's why we don't want you to go to Hawaii and work on your body. Because if you go to Hawaii, in other words, in the virtual reality, as you go there, you're on the beach, the sun is shining, you feel wonderful, you're taking a walk, you're going to get fit. Your visualization goes south. Because what you've just done is reactivated the already troublesome vibration. So that's why we say, get in, feel good, get out. Get in, feel good, get out. Get in, feel good, get out. So you string enough of that get in, feel good together, and you feel so good that you have, for a period of time, deactivated whatever it is that's been troubling you, and you begin to get improvement. And then people say, what are you doing? How did you achieve this improvement? And then you think about it, and the improvement begins to wane right away, because your old friends help you activate the very thing that you do not want. So you just keep practicing and practicing and practicing until you're sure-footed. In other words, you get so you can smell it coming from a mile away. You get so you can feel it coming in a conversation. You get so you head things off. You also, as you get in, feel good, get out in your visualizations, you begin to do that with phone calls too. And your meetings with one another become briefer. You get in, you feel good. If the conversation starts taking you someplace you don't want to go, you get out. You become addicted to your source. You become so enlivened with feeling the way that is natural to you that then all that other stuff becomes a non-issue. You don't have to protect yourself from it. You couldn't if you tried. You've just deactivated. It is a non-issue for you. So things that are troubling others and they try to trouble you, they send you pictures in the mail, troubling things about the environment or about animals or about children or about anthrax. In other words, they send you worrisome things, and you don't take them and tear them up in little pieces and set them on fire and activate them. They're a non-issue. They're a non-issue. They don't have anything to do with you. They don't have anything to do with you. They don't fire you up. They don't worry you. They're a non-issue, because the issues that matter to you are so activated. You don't push against anything, because pushing against activates it within you. We're eager to visit with you about anything that is important to you. You'll discover a delicious unfolding. Sometimes somebody else will ask your question. That will be good for you, because you're more likely to hear the answer to your question if you're not asking the question. Why is that? Because when you ask the question, you activate the trauma that is causing you to ask it to begin with. And we want you to realize that you're always asking. You're always asking. The question is, are you asking from a place of letting it in or not?